In the opulent chamber of the Zenthari High Command, a grand round table dominated the room, adorned with holographic displays that pulsed with data from across the galaxy. The air was thick with the scents of exotic alien cuisines, but the mood was far from celebratory. At the head of the table, Commander Xara, a striking figure with luminescent skin and sharp, angular features, leaned forward, her piercing gaze fixed on the floating images of the latest intelligence reports. "Look at this human vessel," she declared, a mocking smile creeping across her lips as she gestured toward the flickering image of the *SS Clumsy*. The ship appeared to be a patchwork of technology, bulging engines, mismatched hull plating, and an array of antennas sticking out like the quills of a porcupine. "They dare to challenge our fleet with this abomination." Laughter erupted around the table, echoing off the ornate walls. The other Zenthari leaders exchanged glances, amusement dancing in their eyes. "They must be desperate," quipped one of the counselors, his voice dripping with condescension. "It's a wonder it can even leave the atmosphere." Xara's confidence surged as she continued. "I propose a wager. If this so-called SS Clumsy succeeds in its mission to the asteroid belt, I will concede my position. But if it fails—" She paused dramatically, letting the tension build. "Then you will all bow to me in my victory." The laughter subsided, replaced by curious glances. "And what if the human vessel surprises us?" Another counselor asked, skepticism creeping into his voice. "It's highly unlikely, but—" Xara interrupted, her voice a low, confident murmur. "I assure you, it will not. Humans are clumsy, reckless creatures. They rely on emotion over strategy. Watch them flounder, and then we shall see whose laughter rings true." Meanwhile, light years away on Earth, Captain Elena Martinez stood on the command deck of the *SS Clumsy*, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The crew bustled around her, engineers checking consoles, scientists reviewing data, and pilots adjusting navigational coordinates. The vibrant energy of the team filled the cramped space, infused with an unyielding spirit. "Are we really going to let them mock us like this?" Elena addressed her crew, a fire igniting in her chest. "This ship might not look like much, but it's ours. We built it from the ground up, and it's equipped with everything we need to succeed. Besides, who says clumsy can't be clever?" Her words resonated deeply within the crew. They had faced ridicule from their peers, from other spacefaring nations, and now from an entire alien species. But this was their chance. The *SS Clumsy* may have been a product of improvisation, but they had designed it to tackle the unpredictable. As they prepared for launch, Elena caught sight of the mission briefing displayed on a nearby screen. Objective: explore the asteroid belt and retrieve valuable resources. She felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders, knowing that not only was the mission crucial for Earth, but it was also a chance to prove the Zenthari wrong. "Ready for launch, Captain," called Jake, the pilot, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Elena took a deep breath. "All right, everyone. Let's show them what we're made of. On my mark. 3, 2, 1. Liftoff." With a jolt, the *SS Clumsy* surged into the cosmos, the crew's cheers echoing through the cabin. As they broke through the atmosphere, Elena glanced back at Earth, a mix of pride and determination flooding her veins. This was just the beginning. They would face the Zenthari, and they would do it with ingenuity, heart, and perhaps a little clumsiness that might just turn into their greatest asset. As the SS Clumsy soared into the vastness of space, the thrill of launch faded into the challenges of interstellar travel. Captain Elena Martinez stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that outlined their trajectory through the asteroid belt. A palpable energy coursed through the cramped cabin, where every crew member was both eager and anxious about the journey ahead. "Navigation looks good, Captain," Jake, the pilot, announced, his fingers flying over the controls. He wore a wide grin, the thrill of the adventure electrifying his every movement. We're on course for the asteroid belt in about 10 minutes. Excellent. Let's keep our eyes peeled for any unexpected debris. Remember, this ship may be clumsy, but we have the best crew in the galaxy, Alina replied, her voice steady despite the pressure mounting on her shoulders. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the ship jolted. The crew exchanged worried glances. What was that? Alina demanded, gripping the console. Engine fluctuations detected, shouted Mira, the chief engineer, her brow furrowed as she scrambled to her panel. I'm initiating a systems check. Before she could finish, the ship rocked violently again, sending crew members stumbling. Hold on, Jake shouted, trying to stabilize the controls. We're experiencing turbulence. Not turbulence, Mira yelled, panic creeping into her voice. That's more like a malfunction. Alina's heart raced as she watched the warning lights flash. Mira, get on it. We need to regain control. She turned to the rest of the crew. Everyone, brace for impact. In a matter of seconds, alarms blared throughout the cabin. The crew scrambled, some diving for their stations, while others struggled to keep their balance. Just when it seemed they might spiral out of control, Mira's fingers danced over her console, and she shouted, I've rerouted power to stabilize the engines. The *SS Clumsy * steadied, but not before a loud clank reverberated through the ship. Alina took a deep breath, her resolve hardening. All right, let's regroup. What's next? Looks like we lost some auxiliary power, Mira reported, wiping sweat from her brow. But we're functional. We can still navigate. Good. Let's keep moving, Alina said, trying to mask her concern. We have a mission to complete. As they approached the asteroid belt, the crew peered through the viewports, wide-eyed at the swirling mass of rock and debris that stretched before them. It's beautiful and terrifying, Jake remarked, awe in his voice. Just like us, Alina quipped, trying to lighten the mood. Stay alert. We need to plot a safe course through. However, as they entered the belt, a sudden shower of small meteoroids erupted from a nearby asteroid, striking the ship's hull. The *SS Clumsy * shook violently again, throwing crew members against their stations. Impact. Shields at 50%. Mira shouted. Evasive maneuvers, Alina commanded, her heart pounding. She watched as Jake deftly maneuvered the ship, narrowly dodging several larger chunks of rock. We can't let the Zentheri hear about this, she said, her determination evident. After what felt like an eternity, the crew finally steadied the ship. Breathing heavily, they exchanged glances, a mix of adrenaline and relief washing over them. That was close, Jake muttered, wiping a bead of sweat from his forehead. I thought we were done for. Alina took a moment to catch her breath. Every ship has its quirks, right? Just like every crew. We're going to face challenges, but we can handle them. With renewed focus, they continued through the asteroid belt, determined to prove their worth. But as they ventured deeper, Alina sensed that something far more ominous awaited them. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone out here in the dark expanse of space. Keep your eyes open, everyone, she warned. We may be clumsy, but we're not out of this yet. The mission was far from over, and with every turn, they edged closer to the unknown, each moment weaving them deeper into the fabric of a story that would test their limits. As the SS Clumsy navigated the treacherous asteroid belt, the crew settled into a tense rhythm, their previous exhilaration replaced by a palpable anxiety. Massive boulders floated past, each a reminder of the dangers they faced. Alina stood at the helm, eyes darting between the viewports and the control panels, her instincts on high alert. Steady at 2 degrees to port, Jake instructed, his fingers deftly adjusting the ship's trajectory. We need to avoid that cluster ahead. Got it, Alina replied, her heart racing. Everyone, keep monitoring the sensors for any unexpected debris. We don't want to end up as a cosmic pancake. The ship shuddered again as another small asteroid grazed its hull, sending a tremor through the cabin. Shields holding at 70%. Mira shouted, her brow furrowed in concentration as she ran diagnostics. Let's hope it holds, Alina muttered, glancing at the swirling mass of asteroids outside. Just then, a blaring alarm cut through the tension, accompanied by a flashing red light on her console. What now? Sensor anomalies detected, Mira exclaimed, her voice tinged with urgency. Something's not right. We're picking up another vessel's signature nearby. Could it be the Zenthari? Jake asked, his face pale. I thought we were safe out here. Let's not jump to conclusions, Alina said, her voice steady despite the tightening knot in her stomach. We need to confirm. The crew focused intently on the readings as the signature grew clearer. It's definitely a ship, Mira confirmed, her fingers flying over her controls. But it's not Zenthari. It appears derelict. Alina's curiosity piqued. A derelict ship. Could it have valuable technology? Let's take a closer look. With caution, Jake guided the *SS Clumsy* toward the mysterious vessel, its dark silhouette emerging from the shadows of the asteroids. The derelict ship looked ancient, its hull riddled with craters and scars, as if it had seen countless battles. It looks like it hasn't moved in ages, Jake observed. Or it's waiting for someone to board, Alina said, unease creeping into her voice. Mira, can you get a read on its systems? I'm trying, but it's all scrambled, Mira replied, biting her lip. It's almost as if it's in hibernation mode. Let's see what we can find inside, Alina decided, determination settling in. Prepare an away team. Jake, you're with me. Mira, you stay here and monitor our sensors. If anything changes, alert us immediately. Moments later, Alina and Jake donned their suits, the airlock sealing behind them with a hiss. As they stepped into the derelict ship, the atmosphere felt thick and heavy. Dim emergency lights flickered overhead, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. Stick close, Alina whispered, feeling a sense of foreboding. They moved cautiously down the darkened corridor, the faint hum of dormant systems reverberating around them. This place gives me the creeps. Yeah, no kidding, Jake replied, his voice barely above a whisper. Let's just find whatever tech they have and get out. As they ventured deeper, they stumbled upon a control room, its screens dark and lifeless. Alina approached the main console and flicked a switch. To her surprise, a series of holographic displays flared to life, showing the detailed layout of the ship and its weapon systems. Look at this, she exclaimed, her heart racing with excitement. These weapons could give us an edge against the Zenthari. Before they could further investigate, an ominous sound echoed through the ship. An alarm, blaring loudly. Alina's pulse quickened. What did we do? Maybe we shouldn't have touched anything, Jake said, glancing nervously at the doors behind them. Suddenly, a holographic figure flickered into existence, a blue light coalescing into the form of a stern-looking alien. Warning: unauthorized access detected. Activate defense protocol. What? No, Alina shouted, realizing they had triggered something ancient and dangerous. The ship began to tremble as mechanisms whirred to life around them. Back to the *SS Clumsy*. Now, Jake yelled, fear evident in his voice. They raced back through the dark corridors, the ship's alarms echoing in their ears, not just a warning, but a promise of the danger lurking ahead. Alina and Jake sprinted through the derelict ship, their footsteps echoing ominously in the confined corridors. The alarm blared relentlessly, a haunting reminder that they had trespassed into forbidden territory. The flickering lights cast eerie shadows that danced along the walls, making every creak of the ship sound like a warning. Faster, Alina urged, glancing back as the holographic figure flickered again, now fully animated and menacing. Unauthorized access detected. Defense protocols activated, it repeated, its voice cold and unyielding. "I can't believe we set off a defense system," Jake panted, struggling to keep pace. "What kind of ship is this?" "I don't know, but we need to get back to the SS Clumsy before it finds us," Elena shouted, adrenaline fueling her sprint. They turned a corner, and the narrow corridor stretched out before them like a dark tunnel, every instinct screaming that they were being hunted. They reached the airlock that separated the derelict ship from the SS Clumsy, but the door was sealed tight. "Come on," Elena yelled, frantically pressing buttons, her heart racing. "Open, open." The holographic figure's voice boomed through the ship again. "Intruders detected. Lockdown initiated." "Great, just great," Jake groaned. "What now?" Elena cursed under her breath. "We need to override the lock." She pulled out a portable terminal from her suit, connecting it to the airlock's interface. Come on, just a few more seconds." The sound of machinery whirring echoed behind them, sending a chill down her spine. "Hurry," Jake urged, glancing nervously over his shoulder. The threat of the defense system loomed large, and they could almost feel its presence closing in. Finally, the airlock door shuddered and began to slide open. "Yes," Elena cheered, but her triumph was short-lived. Just as they stepped through, a blast of energy shot past them, singing the wall beside Jake. "Go, go," Elena shouted, pushing him forward as the door slammed shut behind them, the heavy clang resounding like a death knell. They staggered back into the SS Clumsy, breathless and wide-eyed. "Mira, we need to get out of here," Elena shouted, rushing to her station. "What happened?" Mira asked, her fingers poised over her controls. "You both look like you've seen a ghost." "The ship is alive, Mira. It has a defense system. We triggered something, and now it's trying to." Elena began, but before she could finish, the ship lurched violently as an external force struck. "Impact detected. Shields at 60%. Mira shouted, eyes wide with panic. "Jake, get us out of here," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to evade whatever that thing is." With the ship shaking under the assault, Jake worked the controls, sweat dripping down his forehead. "I'm trying. The navigation system is responding sluggishly." Elena watched in horror as the holographic image of the alien ship materialized on her console, its weapons systems fully charged and preparing to fire. "It's targeting us. We have to take evasive action." "I'm on it," Jake grunted, desperately maneuvering the *SS Clumsy* to avoid the incoming fire. "Hold on." The ship rocked again as energy blasts erupted around them, narrowly missing the hull. "We can't keep this up forever. We need to find a way to disable that ship," Elena shouted, her mind racing. "Maybe we can use the data we downloaded," Mira suggested. "If we can access the weapon systems, we could turn them against it." Elena nodded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Do it, but we need to act fast." As Jake continued to dodge incoming fire, Mira worked furiously at her console, tapping into the data they had recovered from the derelict ship. "I think I can create a feedback loop in their systems. If we overload their weapons, it might give us a chance to escape. Just make it quick," Elena urged, watching as another energy bolt narrowly missed them. "We're running out of time." Mira's fingers flew over the controls, her focus unyielding. "Almost there. Just a few more adjustments." With one final press, she sent the command. "Now, it's active." The SS Clumsy shuddered as the feedback loop initiated. The alien ship's weapons flared ominously, then erupted in a cascade of sparks, the energy field destabilizing. "Yes, it worked," Mira cheered. "Now's our chance. Jake, let's get out of here," Elena ordered, her heart racing with renewed hope. "On it," Jake responded, revving the engines as the SS Clumsy sped away, leaving the chaos behind. As they broke free from the asteroid belt, Alina couldn't shake the feeling that their encounter had only just begun, and that the derelict ship had secrets yet to reveal. As the SS Clumsy rocketed away from the chaotic scene, a sense of exhilaration washed over Alina and her crew. They had narrowly escaped the clutches of the mysterious derelict ship, but the relief was short-lived. A sense of foreboding settled in as they turned their attention to the navigation screen, where a new danger loomed large. "Everyone, status report," Alina commanded, her heart pounding. Mira's fingers danced across her console, the glow of the screen illuminating her tense expression. "Shields are down to 45%. We sustained minor hull damage from the alien ship's blasts. Nothing we can't handle, but what?" Jake asked, his brow furrowing as he glanced at the readings. "But I'm detecting multiple Zenthari signatures on our sensors. They're heading this way, and fast," Mira replied, her voice tight with urgency. Alina's stomach dropped. "How many?" "5 ships, at least," she reported, her eyes wide with alarm. "They're on intercept course, and they'll reach us in under 10 minutes. "Great, just what we needed," Jake muttered, glancing at Alina. "What's the plan, Captain?" "First, we need to assess our weapon systems," Alina said, her mind racing. "If we're going to face them, we need to be prepared. Mira, get a read on the data we extracted from that derelict ship. If it had advanced weaponry, we might be able to improvise." Mira nodded, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she sifted through the data. "I'll see what we can implement quickly. The technology from the alien ship could give us an edge if we can get it online." As the crew worked, tension mounted in the small cabin. Alina peered out the viewport, watching as the stars streaked by. The vastness of space felt suffocating as the weight of the Zenthari threat loomed closer. "Any chance we can outrun them?" Jake asked, a note of desperation in his voice. "Not if they're using their advanced drives," Alina replied, shaking her head. "They'll catch us in no time. We need to hold our ground." Mira looked up from her screen, excitement sparking in her eyes. "Captain, I think I've found something. There's a weapon system in the derelict ship's data that we can adapt to our ship. If we can reroute some of our power, we could enhance our energy beams." "Do it," Alina said, feeling a surge of hope. "We may not have a full arsenal, but we can make do. Everyone, brace for battle. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about proving ourselves." The crew sprang into action, each member focused on their tasks. The atmosphere was thick with determination, punctuated by the occasional jolt as the *SS Clumsy* absorbed the stress of their maneuvers. Moments later, Mira shouted, "I've activated the modified weapon systems. They should give us a bit more firepower, but we can't use them continuously. We'll overheat the core." "Understood," Alina replied, adrenaline surging through her. "We'll have to pick our shots wisely." "Zenthari ships on the radar," Jake warned, his eyes darting between the controls. "They're closing in." Alina took a deep breath, her mind racing. "Everyone, to your stations. We'll use the asteroids to our advantage. We can create cover and funnel them into a narrow attack pattern." "Got it," Jake responded, adjusting their trajectory toward a nearby cluster of asteroids. "Let's see if they can keep up." As the *SS Clumsy* dove into the asteroid field, the Zenthari ships followed, their sleek hulls glinting ominously in the starlight. Alina felt a rush of adrenaline as they navigated through the rocks, weaving expertly between the floating debris. The first Zenthari ship fired, its energy blast illuminating the darkness as it narrowly missed the *SS Clumsy*. "They're coming in hot," Jake shouted, steering them away from danger. "Ready the modified weapons," Alina commanded, her voice resolute. "As soon as they get within range, we'll strike back." The crew's hearts raced in unison as they prepared for the imminent confrontation. The chaos of the asteroid belt became a backdrop to the most critical moment of their mission, a testament to their resilience. With each pulse of the engines and hum of the systems, they embraced the unknown, ready to face whatever came next. The Zentheri had mocked them, but now the tables were about to turn. The atmosphere in the SS Clumsy was electric as Alina and her crew prepared for the imminent clash with the Zentheri fleet. Adrenaline surged through her veins, sharpening her focus. The asteroid field loomed around them, a chaotic maze that offered both cover and danger. 2 Zentheri ships are breaking away from the main formation, Jake reported, his eyes locked on the sensors. They're heading straight for us. Hold steady, Alina commanded, her heart pounding. Mira, get our weapons ready. We'll fire as soon as they come within range. Right, Mira responded, her fingers dancing over her console as she armed the modified energy beams. We're good to go, but remember, overheating could compromise our shields. Alina nodded, calculating the risks in her mind. We'll make every shot count. We can't afford to miss. As the Zentheri ships closed in, Alina felt a wave of confidence wash over her. This was their moment to prove they were not just a clumsy vessel, but a formidable force. Here they come, Jake shouted, his voice filled with urgency. On my mark. With a final glance at her crew, Alina raised her voice. Now, target the lid ship. The SS Clumsy shuddered as it fired, a brilliant beam of energy shooting from the modified weapon. It struck the lead Zentheri ship, sending it spiraling off course. Cheers erupted from the crew, but Alina remained focused. Keep it together, she shouted. They'll be back for more. The remaining Zentheri vessels regrouped, and Alina could see the anger in their movements as they adjusted their formation, preparing to counterattack. They're coming around again, Jake warned. They'll flank us if we don't move. Engage evasive maneuvers, Alina ordered, gripping the console. Weave through the asteroids. The SS Clumsy darted between the rocks, the Zentheri ships in hot pursuit. Alina's heart raced as they narrowly avoided collisions with massive boulders, the thrill of the chase pushing them to their limits. Come on, crew, she encouraged, sensing their determination. We can do this. As they navigated the labyrinth of asteroids, the Zentheri began firing their own weapons, energy blasts illuminating the darkness. One shot grazed the hull, alarms blaring as the shields flickered. Shields at 30%. Mira shouted, panic rising in her voice. Keep those weapons charged, Alina commanded, her voice firm. We need to hit them again. Just then, one of the Zentheri ships veered closer, preparing to fire. Incoming blast, Jake shouted. Alina made a split-second decision. Mira, reroute power from the aft shields to the forward weapons. We need to strike first. Doing it, Mira replied, her fingers racing across the console. The ship jolted as the power shifted, the front weapon systems humming with renewed energy. Now, Alina shouted as the Zentheri ship opened fire. Just as the energy blast hurtled toward them, the *SS Clumsy * unleashed another beam, striking the Zentheri ship dead on. The impact was spectacular. The Zentheri vessel exploded in a brilliant flash, fragments scattering through the asteroid field. The crew erupted in cheers, but Alina kept her focus on the remaining ships. Don't celebrate yet, she warned. We still have 2 more ships to deal with. Just then, the remaining Zentheri vessels regrouped, firing in unison. Alina ducked instinctively as the *SS Clumsy * shook under the barrage. Shields holding at 15%. Mira reported, her voice strained. Jake, we need to create a distraction, Alina said, her mind racing. Use the asteroid field to our advantage. Can we cause an avalanche? Absolutely. I can rig one of those larger asteroids to destabilize, Jake replied, excitement igniting in his eyes. But I'll need a moment to set it up. Make it quick. We'll cover you, Alina urged, determination sharpening her focus. Everyone, hold your fire until we have a clear shot. As Jake set his plan in motion, Alina's heart raced. The remaining Zentheri ships advanced, their weapons primed and ready. This is it, she whispered, steeling herself. Ready, Jake shouted, finishing his adjustments. Now, Elena commanded, fire at that asteroid. The *SS Clumsy asterisk unleashed another shot, striking the massive rock and sending it tumbling into the path of the Zenthuri vessels. The asteroid collided with the lead ship, sending it careening off course, while debris rained down on the second. We did it, Mira exclaimed, her voice a mix of disbelief and joy. Elena couldn't help but grin. Now let's finish this. With renewed vigor, the crew focused their efforts on the last Zenthuri ship, ready to prove that the *SS Clumsy asterisk was anything but clumsy. They had turned the tide of battle, and together they would fight to the end. The remnants of the asteroid collided with the remaining Zenthuri ship, causing it to shudder violently. The crew of the SS Clumsy felt a surge of hope wash over them as they saw the Zenthuri vessel falter. Elena's heart raced. They were so close to victory. Finish it, she shouted, adrenaline fueling her voice. Let's show them what we're made of. Targeting systems locked, Mira reported, a fierce determination in her eyes. Ready to fire. Jake deftly maneuvered the ship, positioning it for a clear shot. Just give me the order, Captain. Elena took a breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Now, fire. The modified energy beam surged forth, striking the Zenthuri ship with a brilliant flash. The vessel's shields flickered and failed, the hull erupting into a cascade of sparks. The crew watched, breathless, as the ship spiraled out of control before exploding in a magnificent fireball. Cheers erupted in the cabin, but Elena quickly raised her hand to silence them. Stay alert. This might not be over yet, she cautioned, scanning the sensors for any remaining threats. Nothing on the radar, Captain, Jake confirmed, a smile creeping onto his face. We did it. We really did it. Mira, still focused on her screens, added, but we need to regroup and assess the damage. The *Clumsy asterisk isn't out of the woods yet. Elena nodded, her mind racing. Let's pull back to a safe distance and check our systems. We can't afford to let our guard down. As they moved away from the scene of the battle, the crew took stock of their situation. The SS Clumsy was battered but intact. However, the glow of victory was tempered by the realization that their encounter with the Zenthuri was likely not the end. Captain, I've managed to stabilize the shields, but they're still at a critical level, Mira reported. We need to find a way to recharge them before we encounter any more threats. Agreed, Elena replied. Let's get as far from the asteroid field as possible. Then we can look for a nearby station or a safe haven. Heading toward the nearest system now, Jake said, eyes focused on the navigation controls. As they moved away from the wreckage, a sudden alarm pierced the cabin, sending a chill down Elena's spine. What now? She asked, her heart racing again. New contacts detected, Mira shouted, frantically typing. It's a Zenthuri fleet, much larger than before. Elena's stomach dropped. How many? Approximately a dozen ships, Mira reported, her voice shaking. They must have been lurking on the edge of the asteroid field, waiting for their chance. Damn it. Elena cursed, frustration boiling inside her. We can't fight them all. We need to think fast, Jake said, his voice steady despite the chaos. We should find a way to hide. We might be able to use the debris from the previous battle as cover. Elena nodded, her mind racing. Good idea. Let's set a course for the debris field, then initiate stealth protocols. Mira, can you boost our cloaking capabilities? Already on it, Mira replied, fingers flying over her controls. It'll take a moment, but I can enhance our systems enough to give us a fighting chance. As they moved toward the debris, Elena's heart raced. We'll need to time this perfectly. If we can slip past their scanners, we might just make it. Jake maneuvered the *SS Clumsy asterisk into the field of wreckage, the remnants of the Zenthuri ships and asteroids offering a chaotic backdrop. I'm cutting the engines now. Let's hope they don't see us. Cloaking activated, Mira announced, the lights dimming slightly as the ship blended into its surroundings. The Xanthari ships approached, their imposing silhouettes casting shadows over the debris field. Alina held her breath, watching as they began to scan the area. Each moment felt like an eternity, her heart pounding as she prayed for their stealth systems to hold. "Please don't find us," she whispered under her breath, willing the ship to remain undetected. The Xanthari fleet drifted closer, their scanners sweeping the area with eerie precision. Alina's crew held their breath, the tension thick in the air. As the first ship passed within meters of their position, time seemed to stand still. "Stay calm," Alina whispered to her crew, gripping her console. "We can do this." And in that moment, the fate of the SS Clumsy rested on a knife's edge, the outcome uncertain as they faced the dark unknown ahead. As the Xanthari fleet glided ominously through the debris field, the crew of the SS Clumsy held their collective breath, hearts pounding in their chests. The air was thick with tension, the silence almost suffocating as the enemy ship scanned for any signs of life. Alina's eyes were glued to the sensors, watching the Xanthari vessels pass one by one, their weapon systems primed and ready. "Keep those scanners sharp, Mira," she whispered, her voice steady despite the rising fear. "We can't afford to be caught off guard." "Understood," Mira replied, her fingers moving deftly over the console, ensuring their stealth systems remained operational. "We're holding on the cloaking systems, but it's draining power quickly. We need to make this last." "Jake, any chance we can reroute more power?" Alina asked, her mind racing with strategies. "We can shift some from the non-essential systems," he said, glancing back at her. "But it'll leave us vulnerable if we need to act fast." "Do it," Alina decided, determination etched across her face. "We have to survive this." As Jake worked the controls, the Xanthari ships continued their search. One vessel hovered particularly close, its sensors sweeping the area. "It's like they know we're here," Jake muttered, sweat beading on his forehead. "Stay calm," Alina urged, her voice a soothing anchor amidst the storm. "We've faced worse. Just hold your ground." Suddenly, the Xanthari ship's scanners focused on a section of debris. "They're targeting us," Mira exclaimed, her voice rising with alarm. "They'd found something." "Shields," Alina shouted, a rush of adrenaline surging through her. "Prepare for impact." Just as the Xanthari ship fired, Alina made a split-second decision. "Jake, divert all power to the rear shields. We'll take the hit, but we need to fire back when we get the chance." The SS Clumsy shuddered under the impact, alarms blaring as the energy beam struck, weakening their shields. But the crew was ready, weapons primed. Mira called out, her resolve firm. "Now," Alina commanded. The ship unleashed its modified energy beam, hitting the Xanthari vessel squarely in its midsection. The enemy ship erupted in a flash of light, debris scattering into the darkness. "Nice shot," Jake cheered, but Alina's smile was short-lived. The remaining Xanthari ships were now aware of their presence and closing in fast. "We've got company," Mira shouted, her eyes wide as more Xanthari ships altered course toward them. "They're angry. Let's give them a fight they won't forget," Alina said, her voice steady. "Jake, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Mira, keep the weapons charged. We need to hold them off as long as we can." With that, the SS Clumsy entered the fray. Jake piloted the ship with expert precision, weaving between asteroids and debris while firing their modified weapons at the incoming Xanthari vessels. Each shot landed with a satisfying impact, sending sparks flying. But the Xanthari were relentless. They coordinated their attacks, energy blasts lighting up the void as they sought to overwhelm the Clumsy. "Shields down to 20%. Mira cried out, panic rising in her voice. "Keep firing," Alina urged. "We can't let up." The battle raged on, the SS Clumsy dancing amidst the chaos of explosions and energy beams. Elena could feel the weight of her crew's hopes resting on her shoulders, their very survival hanging in the balance. Then, as if sensing their determination, the Xanthari vessels began to falter. Elena spotted a flicker of hesitation in their movements, and a bold idea sparked in her mind. "Mira, can you send a targeted pulse toward their command ship? If we can disrupt their coordination, we might turn the tide." "Doing it," Mira shouted, her fingers flying across the console. "Let's see if they can handle a taste of their own medicine." With the pulse sent, the Xanthari ships suddenly wavered. A series of explosions erupted as their formation broke, causing chaos among their ranks. "Now's our chance," Elena shouted. "Let's hit them while they're scattered." Jake executed a daring maneuver, bringing the SS Clumsy around for a final assault. The crew unleashed everything they had, their energy beams finding targets amidst the disarray. One by one, Xanthari ships began to fall, their arrogance crumbling under the pressure of a united human front. As the last Xanthari vessel disintegrated in a brilliant explosion, silence fell over the battlefield. The crew of the SS Clumsy stared at the wreckage, disbelief mingling with exhilaration. "We did it," Mira shouted, laughter bubbling over. "We really did it." Elena's heart soared. "Yes, we fought against overwhelming odds and won. But let's not celebrate just yet. We need to assess any remaining threats and regroup." "Understood, Captain," Jake replied, a smile still playing at his lips. As they navigated through the remnants of the battle, Elena couldn't help but feel pride swell in her chest. They had proven themselves against the Xanthari, transforming from the underdogs into warriors. In that moment, the SS Clumsy was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience and strength. They had faced their fears, fought against the odds, and emerged victorious, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in the vastness of space.